Hey loves, it's Chellbee, and if this is your first time here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. You know I love you. If this is your first time here, you may not know me, but I am Chellbee. I'm the blogger behind Chellbee.com. I share videos on my faith. So basically what you can expect to see from me is different Bible study with me. So different Bible study lessons that I'm learning. I also share Bible study tips and resources, reading plans, and I also have a Christian stationery shop now, which you can find on my website as well as on Etsy. So I share the behind the scenes of my journey basically with starting my shop and running my shop, and just I'm trying to be transparent about that experience as well on this channel. I post videos every other Thursday, so if you have not subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And now So for today's Bible study with me video, I'm reading Isaiah. We are in chapter 6 and I'm reading verses 6 through 11. Now, my particular standout verse this day was verse 6-7. I'm sorry, it's not verse 6-7. I always mess that up. It was chapter 6, verse 7. And it says, "Behold, this has touched your lips. Your guilt is taken away and your sin atoned." So during Isaiah's vision of God, the serpent grabs a coal and cleanses his lips. And this happens after Isaiah has he's confessed of his unclean lips. So he's in God's holiness and he's seeing God's perfectness, and in that moment he takes that opportunity to go ahead and confess to God that, hey, I'm not holy, the same way any of us do when we feel God's presence. All you want to do is just come clean about how wrong you are, how not perfect you are, because you know how perfect he is and how holy he is. And I don't know, something about confessing seems to be the only way to make yourself feel comfortable talking to somebody who is so perfect, right? So that's what Isaiah does, and he's cleansed. He's cleansed through the coal that's put on his lips by the serpent. Now, my notes and it's not my notes, it's the notes from the Enduring Word, which is Dr. Tony Evans' commentary. There was a really good point that I didn't necessarily think about because I don't have a lot of interactions with coals, but he made the point that basically this was necessary, the burning of the coal on Isaiah's lips, because the lips apparently is like one of the most sensitive places on our face, that the coals on his lips, that it was necessary in order for Isaiah to experience cleansing. He had to embrace the pain of the past that had gotten him there. And I didn't necessarily think about that, but that does make a lot of sense, that when we're confessing if you've ever taken that time to kind of confess, of your shortcomings and things like that to God. So I don't know about you, but when I always start to think about, all the things that I've done that obviously fall in line with that confession. And it's like it all kind of comes flooding back to you, when you're confessing of all of those mistakes that you've made and all the wrong you've done, and that pain just kind of comes back to you in those moments when you're confessing for some reason. But so that was an interesting point that I definitely wanted to share. But to continue on, and I don't know if I'm going to be in line with my visuals, so just bear with me. So Isaiah, he's been cleansed, and now, he wants the opportunity to serve God like we all do, right? So when God is asking for volunteers, Isaiah's like, look, I'll do it. I'll go. I'll tell your people. So Isaiah, he volunteers to basically speak to the people of Judah on God's behalf. And he's like, I'm ready to serve. I'm cleansed. I'm ready to serve. And who better, I think I struggled with this when I was feeling called to share more about my spiritual journey, is just feeling, imperfect. I definitely wasn't volunteering to serve, but I kept feeling that urge, kept feeling that push, and eventually, I just did it because I didn't feel like I had any other choice. But I definitely struggled, thinking, I'm not perfect. How am I gonna share or say something? I have all these mistakes that I've made, all my wrongdoing, failures, and things like that, and continue to make, right? And it's the point. I think the point of us volunteering and choosing to share our faith and choosing to be light, in God's kingdom, to be a light and share God's kingdom and try to help expand his kingdom. I think the point is to have an imperfect person. I don't think the point of it is to be perfect. I think that's Jesus already served that purpose, right? In all his perfectness and purity, he's already served that purpose of being the on earth perfect person who embodied everything that God is. So I don't think that that's what God calls us as human beings to be. I think he calls us more to serve as that physical reminder that you can serve God and not be perfect and fall short, and that he understands that and he knows that, but he still wants that relationship with us. He clearly still desires that relationship with us, and that's what salvation is all about. And I think it's easier sometimes to relate to the person who isn't perfect, right? Because neither am I. So I'm not drawn when I'm looking for spiritual guidance. I'm not drawn to the know-it-all person or the person who, pretends to not be flawed or have any mistakes or pretends to never sin. That's not the person that I necessarily go to or am drawn to when I'm looking for spiritual guidance or to be filled up spiritually. And so I think God seen Isaiah as a good example for the people of Judah for that same reason, because he wasn't perfect. So who better to go and speak to his people? Of course, God sent Isaiah in and he warned him, like, these people, a lot of them aren't going to listen. A lot of them are far gone. But, just like in any other situation that we typically read in the Bible, there are always a few, who are going to receive the word and are going to be healed. And so saving those few is worth it at the end of the day. And so to kind of continue on my I learned section of my Bible study, and on the printable, I think it says how it applies. I'm not sure, but anywho, on the SOAP method, so it's scripture, so standout scripture. The second one is observation. The third one is apply or application. In my section for the application, I just basically wrote, God is God is generous. He is gracious, but he is also very generous with his grace. Isaiah confessed and he was cleansed, and God used him, and he can do the same for you. We just need to confess. He loves us and he is waiting and he is ready for us. He is ready to forgive us and to welcome us back into his kingdom. And I just wanted to share that with you all today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this Bible study with me video. I think it was pretty quick. I hope it was quick. Hopefully this encourages you to start reading the book of Isaiah. It's a great book to read. I definitely would suggest making sure that you have a few great commentary that you would like to read, or even a study Bible that you can read along with Isaiah, because there are definitely some points that you want to make sure you dig deeper in besides just reading the actual verses. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please make sure you leave a comment below if you have any ideas of things you want to see, or if you've read Isaiah and you have some thoughts that you want to share. I'd love to chat with you below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up video, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again next Thursday. Bye. Be blessed and stay safe. Bye.